Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Egbert here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about, do you have bad credit? Let's fix it. Tifosi Optics. Check. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. Well, that's right. There's ways that you can fix your credit, but what happens during a pandemic? People lost their jobs, they're laid off. Now you're about panicking. That could be you. You're saying, man, there's no way I can fix my credit. Well, there is, and we have videos to help you. We're gonna talk about it in this video as well. And you can build up with new credit to help offset that old bad credit or even that new bad credit. So now, let's check it out. We're gonna go to the screen. Let's go. As you can see, we're here on the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. We're going to get into that bad credit moves that we can make to fix it in a second, but I always have to point out, we're at the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And you notice there's a join button over here on the right hand side. That is a membership button where people actually can pay to join. And I send, under the community tab, I send special messages just to members only. And they get 1 or 2 videos a month, also specially for them. And we're going to start doing live streams just for members only as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the credit situation. Because we have a lot of people with bad credit, especially after this pandemic. So let's get down to the cost so I can get your attention. Here's what the situation is. When you have poor credit, fair, good, very good, great credit, great obviously is going to be in that 800 and up range. This green here is going to be in that 740 to about 800 range. This here is like 720 to 700, 720 to 740 range. This right here is around 620 to 680 range, and we'll get all into that, and this is below that. So you can get loans, you just have to put more money down. And here you can see a $200,000 home loan over 30 years. You have to put down 40% right now, let's say. Everybody pretty much does, unless you have great credit. But let's just put it as in perspective. Poor credit, 1,141. This is the fair credit, where roughly 30% of the population falls under. You're paying 1,088, but if you had that great credit, 800 and up, you're only paying $1,014. Let me show you something here. I'm not going to use these lower numbers, which are $30, $40 per month, but this is over 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. So like right here, this is almost $30 a month, which is $300 a year, a little more than that. But let's call it $300 a year times 30. You guys can start doing the number. That's an extra like $90,000. So let's go to the worst case scenario where it's roughly $125, $130. We'll call it $120, just to be on the lower side of the spectrum. So let's go over here to investor.gov. This is a compound interest calculator. So again, I'll go back to this. What I'm doing is the difference between poor credit, which has a higher interest rate, and great credit, which has a lower interest rate. There's something else you're giving up as well. And I'm going to show you what that is. So if you consider a home an investment, the $120 difference, you saw my initial investment I'm putting here. This is for 30 years. This is what you're saving if you have great credit versus poor credit. 120, that's why I recommend, if you're buying a house, I always say, why are you in a rush if you don't have credit that's great? Because you're going to be paying all this extra money for no reason. You can't wait another 6 months, a year to fix your credit, or 4 months. That's all it takes. So you might as well wait and save yourself some money in the long run. Anyhow, $120. Monthly contribution is $120. Length of time is 30 years. interest rate of 12. And the reason why I say 12 is because any of the index funds have been earning 12% or more. So over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm going to put down here 12 just to be conservative. I'm not going to put down something that earns 20 or anything like that. And then I'm saying compounding annually. And then when you calculate, look at this. Over 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, you already paid for the house just if you were to put your 120 that you saved. Now you understand the power of good credit, because the person down here, they have the extra $120 that they would have put over here in a index fund, for instance, and they would have not only have paid off their house, they would have $350,000 or more saved up. House plus 350. That is how you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I call credit an asset. You make use of it because that allows you to do things that a poor credit person cannot do. The same money, except one person is just going to have a house and pay a lot more in interest. Roughly, well, they're paying 6%, so you're going to pay half of this in interest if you have poor credit, versus the person who has great credit and gets to have this in an account somewhere, plus the house is paid off. Huge difference on the wealth curve. So now that we got that established, and I have your attention, I hope from this point on, now you will pay attention to this that many of you have seen before when we're talking about these buckets that makes your credit score work. 35% is weighted. This is all weighted, ladies and gentlemen. When you miss a payment, the reason why your credit score goes down is because that's 35% of your credit score. You could lose 100 points. 75, 100, 125 points because you missed one payment, let alone 2 or 3 payments. What do you have to do? A lot of people have done this over the pandemic who's been laid off. You have to offset that with new credit, and you have to offset that so you get more payments on the books that's on time. So even if you missed a payment, then you need to get your payment history overall, over all your accounts. You have to have 99% on-time payment history to get back in the green. Otherwise, you're going to be in the red if you're under 99%. So if you have 98, you're in the red. 97, you're in the red. So this is why the more accounts you have, the easier it is to get back up to a 99% average, because you can never get back to 100% once you miss a payment. So that's the bottom line to the story. So this is weighted 35% of your score, and then next up, they weight 30% of your score is based on your debt utilization. So you can go to your credit file. You can look up under Credit Karma. It's easier that way. And you could see what your debt utilization is. If it's above 29%, then you're in the wrong location. You need to be at 29% or less, and ideally you need to be 9% or less debt utilization. And debt utilization is all of your credit combined. So revolving credit, that is, with your credit cards, for instance. If you have $10,000 in credit card limits, and then you used 3,500 of it, that means you got 35% debt utilization. That is not good. Your credit score will more than likely not rise. So as soon as you get it under 29% or less, then your credit score will start creeping up. When you get it under 9% or less, that is the sweet spot. You now will increase your credit score to a higher level. All right. And then ideally you want it at 7% to 2% range ultimately. Now, that's your 65% of your credit score. The other is 15% is length of history. So when you get new credit, it's the average of all your credit combined, even the loans, the revolving credits, all this combined. So when you close out an account that's 15 years old or 10 years old, that's not a good thing. That's why you don't close accounts 10 or 15, 7 years old, because that takes away from your age, which now could drop your score again because the average age needs to be 7 years. So you can go look at your credit file and you can figure this all out yourself. And then you get credit for getting new credit, 10% new credit. You also, 10% of your credit score you get credit for a mix of credit, meaning revolving trade line, installment trade line. Installment trade lines are like car payments, mortgages, personal loans, student loans, anything that has a fixed payment amount. is a installment loan. Now, let's get on to fixing it, right? We got to fix it, ladies and gentlemen. And so I want to put some other things on the screen just so we can get things in perspective here. The FICO guidelines for credit score range, now you can see what that other chart showed. You can see what is poor, fair, good, very good, and excellent. And you can see the 680 to 739 that you can get loans, you can get a little bit better rates. Most people don't understand 740 and up is the place where you can do the most damage because they give you stuff. You don't have to ask for it. It'll arrive in the mail. So that's where you want to be. All right. So we can get to fixing it, but I have one more chart to show you just so you can see what is a bad score. And you can see everybody's pretty much on the same ballpark here. Fair, 670 to 739. Very good, 740 to 799. Excellent, 800 to 850. Let's get real. There's only a limited amount of people. I mean, there's millions of people that have 800 scores. There's and then there's a lot. There's probably 100, probably about 50 to 100. I don't know the chart. All I do know is this: 67% of the population has 670 or less credit score. All right, which means a 669 and under credit score is, I'm sorry, it's reversed. 67% of the population has 670 and above. 33% of the population has 670, 669 and under. So again, I didn't mean to confuse you. 67% of the population has 670 and up. 33%, which is almost 100 million people in America, has scores 669 and under, which means 1 in 3 people that's watching this video have a credit score under 670. All right, you need to get it up if you're buying something that requires credit, and that's where fixing up comes in. All right, so how do we fix it? Well, you have to add new credit, but what we don't want to do is we're trying to avoid adding hard inquiries along the way. If we can add as few inquiries, hard inquiries as possible, the better. We can't altogether avoid it, but we can at least start with some things. So I'm going to have a link down below to this video that I'm showing here on the screen, because this will get you a store credit card. It works 50% of the time. It's only a soft inquiry, so you don't need a credit. They don't do a hard inquiry for this. It's a store credit card, so that can help you with on-time payments. It's going to report every month to all 3 bureaus. And then this is the next video that I'll have a link down below to these 2 videos. Again, it's a online store scenario that we try to do. 50% of the people will qualify, but you have to pay attention and you have to be in incognito mode. Okay? Now, that's how simple it's going to be. So that's all I want to tell you about that. Now, the next thing, which I'm not showing on the screen, is grow credit. All right? So grow credit, in fact, why don't we just go look at it right now? Grow credit is for everybody. This is just to add another installment trade line, and they basically you can pay your bills that are $15 or less, and those Hulus, the Netflix, the Disney Plus, the ESPNs, whatever the case may be, it's whatever they have on their list, and this is put in as an installment trade line, and at $15 or less bill, it's free. Once you go over that to pay more of your bills and have your bills show up on your credit report, that's fine. But that's not really what we're trying to do here. But again, no hard inquiry. There'll be something else reporting that you pay on time, which is what you're trying to do when you have bad credit, because nobody's going to give you a credit card if you have a credit score of 550. Okay? They're just going to ask you for secured credit cards. So why go with that route? Because they will do a hard inquiry. So that can ding your credit score, especially when you have more than 4 in 2 years, which most people will have. So go with the grow credit as well. And then you have to go with our new $10,000 primary trade line, no hard inquiry, no credit check, reports to all 3 credit bureaus, and it's a $149.99 per year. $149.99 for the first year. On the renewal a year from now, it's $99. The link will be down below for that Tradeline, and you have to sign up before the 25th of the month for it to restart reporting the following month, the 12th through the 19th. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Again, another no hard inquiry, and we can fix this. Now, how else can we fix? We can do disputes with collections. You have to understand, a collection agency is a company that you did not sign an agreement with. So they, by rights, have no real reason to put it on your credit report. Okay? And there shouldn't be allowed to, but they do it anyhow. Now, this is why you dispute this. I have sample dispute letters. Okay? If you want to figure out how to dispute something, there'll be a link down below, and I have a credit repair video that I have down below. I'll have a link to it that you can go watch yourself. But short and sweet is, you need to freeze LexisNexis, Innovis, and SageStream before you dispute anything. All right? Next thing how we fix it is, you can hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com via email, and I will send you 3 sample letters. Okay? These are the letters that you send to each credit bureau. And you dispute the fact that, hey, these collection agencies, they don't have anything with my signature on it that I signed an agreement with them. So therefore, this has to be removed. The original creditor is the only one that can put something on your credit report. So they need to be removed. All right? And it takes 30 days that they have to respond. That's all you have to do. And they're always going to respond 9 times out of 10. It's been verified. Without sending you anything, it's been verified. That doesn't work. It's been verified. This hearsay thing doesn't work. Fair Credit Reporting Act doesn't work that way. They have to send you actual documentation showing that you signed with the company that is putting something on your credit report. If they cannot do that, then it has to be removed. And keep in mind, the reason why I suggest you send it in with a registered letter, so they have to sign for it. So that way you keep track. You can ultimately sue them after like 3 letters. That's why I have 3 letters, because if they don't remove it and they don't issue you this documentation, you can actually sue the credit bureau. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they get sued all the time. It's not in their best interest to remove bad credit, because the people that pay them are the same people that lend money. So the lower your score is, the more they can charge you in interest. So that's how we're going to get this all corrected, all straight, so you can start right now. You can start today. Nothing is really stopping you. Just use a little bit of money. After you mess up your credit, it's going to cost you money to get yourself out of the credit. And if it's going to cost you less than $350, I suggest you get on it. But the least you can do is start with the no hard inquiries to get added on right now. Okay? And everything will be down below in the description. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, especially when you have bad credit. You can't get an apartment. You can't get a car. You can't get a house. You can't get anything on credit that's going to be worthy. So therefore, why bother with that? Get extra streams of income is what we talk about. Then you don't have to worry about credit. But as long as you do have to worry about credit because you don't have the extra income and you have to get things where you pay on monthly payment plan, then you need to improve your credit score. And if you have any questions, you can always email me. You can make comments down below. All right? So with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.